Hey. So, good afternoon. Okay. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We're in between, and I'm going to just start filming. I have been waiting to film until all my ducks were in a row, and then I realized half the time I don't know where my ducks are, let alone getting them in a row. Okay. Unless we're talking about my literal ducks, my children. My mind is all over the place. So we're just gonna hop in and we're gonna talk about some goals that I have. I don't even know where I put my notebook with my goals in it, but we're gonna talk about 2024. We're gonna recap a little bit, and then we're gonna talk about goals for 25. I'm sitting in my dedicated, what was my dedicated space for just me, but that's going to have to transform because I have 3 girls and we do hair and they're into makeup. And so I want it to be more often than not a space for me, dedicated to me. But I also want it to be a place where they can come in and play with their makeup and get cute, and as far as like having a place to go and get ready and like be a girly girl. I think that I can share my space for that purpose. And yeah, that's enough of that. So I just want to talk about how 2024 was a year of like putting my ass to the fire. If you are new here, I started my healing journey in 2022. It was after having the twins. I had the twins in 2020. But like 21, we were postpartum. Well, okay, I had them October 2020. We bought our first home in December 2020. And then so 2021 was like a year of just like hitting the ground running, like being homeowners. And Derek had started to gear up for the 22 deployment. And so if you are, let me back up. If you're new here, we're a military family, Navy to be specific. It's been a lot going on over the last several years, okay? Now, I'm going to recap. 2020, October 2020, had the twins. I'm going to go back a step further. December 2019, I was 6 months pregnant, went to a routine checkup, no longer heard Nova's heartbeat. Had to birth her, sleeping. That was traumatic in and of itself. To know that I was going to the hospital to deliver a baby I wasn't taking home, it still haunts me to this day. 2020, top of 2020, we get new orders, we move, the world shuts down, find out we're pregnant. I don't get seen until the end of my first trimester, which was April 30th. Surprise, having twins. Had the twins in October 2020. December 2020, we bought our first house. And then from that point forward, it was, being homeowners, but also Derek starts to gear up for the 22 deployment. So if you are a Navy family, gearing up for deployment means that your spouse, significant other, wherever you are in that journey, they're going to be going on what is called, they're going to be going on trainings. And in the Air Force, it's like TDYs. I don't know what it is in the Army, and the Navy's have underways. That is a cycle of 3 weeks out to sea, come home, do it again, different things, different timelines. And excuse me, y'all, I'm getting over a cold. I'm trying to stay hydrated, all the things. But anyway, so then That was all of 21. So I was postpartum. We were dealing with him being here, then gone, then here, then gone. And that was just a whole thing with postpartum and having twins. And Victoria, she had turned 3 in 21. No. She had turned 4 in 21. February of 2021. So we had a 4-year-old, months old twins. Underway's happening. I'm postpartum. I don't know what to do with myself. All the things I'm dealing with. Newfound trauma that has nothing to do with losing a child and postpartum and all of that. So it was just a lot. 2021 was just happening. And then Derek deployed in August of 22, and some things went down, and I was like, well, you know what? I need to start like figuring this out. Like I need to really like focus on like reeling this in. Not even calling it healing, but I need to like pump the brakes on a few relationships. I need to turn into myself because first of all, my man is gone. So what I'm not about to do too is have random people, not random people, but I'm not about to have people who don't live in my household, pay my bills or do anything like that, stress me the fuck out. So I started to cut off relationships. I stopped talking to family members. I stopped talking to friends. I stopped nurturing half-ass relationships, whether they were family, whether they were friends. I stopped pouring into people and things that were obviously not meant to be in my life. So, right, I just started worrying about my kids, like pouring into my kids. At that time, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was determined to not let the deployment kick my ass, okay? My kids needed me. I needed them. That's where I was at that point. So entered therapy. That was the best thing I did for myself at that time. And I continued therapy for about 1.5 years. Anyway, then my husband came back in April of 23. And so then from there, April, May, June, July, August, a year after he had already deployed, 4 months after he was back from that said deployment, he was telling me they were going back out. So guess what? He left that at the end of September for a little over a month. He left for about 6 weeks and for training, and he had to go. He was home for the holidays that year, but then he left out at the end of January of 24, and then he was gone until May of 24. Okay, at that point, when he got back in April. So that summer I had reckoned with myself. I was like, I gotta go back to work. Like I cannot be everything to everybody. And when he told me that he was deploying, like I was like, I need to go back to work, but I don't want to go back to work, but I do. Like I was teetering and tottering. And then when he came back home and told me that one day, you know, after work, he was like, yeah, we going back out. Oh, I'm going back to work because ain't no way I'm about to sit up in here for months at a time again. And it's just me. And I am the butcher, baker, candlestick maker, chauffeur. Like, no, I'm not doing that again. So I needed a break in my day. So I went back to work in October of 23, and I've been back to work ever since. It's been great. Like, actually, like, going to work is like, it doesn't really bother me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's not something I wake up and dread doing, but it's not something I wake up jumping for joy doing. But in any event, it's been great. And then we got orders to Pennsylvania, and so here we are. So my healing journey has been going on for a little over 2 solid years. And when we moved here, I found myself emotionally regressing, and it was a mess. Like, I was short fused. I was back pretty much to square one. Short fused, withdrawn, up, down, all around. Like, my emotions were from anywhere. First of all, they were on a level 10. But that level 10 could have been joy, anger, sadness. Like, whatever I was feeling was on a level 10. And it wasn't that I didn't have time, right, to go back to therapy. It's that the process of finding a therapist wasn't something that I could just call up my old therapist and do. It don't work like that. Because I went through our health insurance, which is TRICARE, and like, it's always a wait list, and it's always a hurry up and wait. And it was just something that I was like, I know I need to go back to therapy, but like, I need to go back to therapy. Like, I need to call, make an appointment, and be able to be seen ASAP. You know what I'm saying? Like, within a week, I need to be seen. And I knew it wasn't gonna work like that. I just know it doesn't work like that. So I went on a search to try to find a therapist that looked like me. That didn't really yield a whole lot of results in the area that I'm in. But in any event, I just started reflecting. Sometimes I wrote, most times I didn't. I had enough to like keep me going. Like, I literally, when we moved here, I could not, there is no sitting down. Like, everything is 20-30 minutes away. I work 30 to 45 minutes away. So dropping the kids off, picking them up from school, they're at 2 different places, coming home, dinner, bath, bed, like, or bath, dinner, bed, whatever. Like, it was a lot. And so here I am at the end of the year. I was able to take a week off, pretty much. And it has been a great week. I'm wrapping this up. So this is where I'm at now. So all of that to say, this is where I'm at now. I have been wanting to get back to like filming content, but I haven't felt like it. And then I'm like, you know, I have all of these bright concepts that I want to do. Not bright concepts, like, I'm not a content creator, just want to film the shit I do. But like, it ain't been clicking. In my reflection, I realized that I had come to the realization of, how can I put this? I had unlocked a lot of traumatizing shit and realizing the culprit for that traumatizing shit. And it sat me down. And I had to sometimes I just was angry about it. And then there were times where I was just sad. So I would stay up at night and I would just think on it. Like, I wouldn't write none of this down. I don't want to write some of this down because I don't want to remember it. I have notebooks and journals full of things that I used to write down. And when I go back and I start reading that stuff, I'm like, that is not even a space I want to be in. Like, sis, we need to process this and then burn it. So I am now in the habit of really just allowing my memory to unlock itself. And meaning that means that I have sat with myself and been like, oh, for example, I pick my kids up and we come home after school, right? We have a whole routine. One day I was like, damn, when I was 7, Victoria's 7, what did I do when I was 7 when I came home? That was around the time that I was, back then it was all the rage to, maybe not all the rage, and maybe this was not normal, but anyway, it was all the talk if you were a latchkey kid, right? You had a key to the house, you let yourself in, you get yourself a little snack, you don't touch nothing, you mind yourself until your parents get home, right? So was like, oh shit, I used to come home by myself. Ain't no way my 7-year-old is coming home by herself. It's just not happening. Like, not happening. But then from there, I would do things like, okay, I was 7 in whatever year that was. Like, that was 90. No. I'm not even about to sit here and do all of that. But I did it for the purpose of unlocking memories and stuff. And I was like, oh, that was the year of. And then, right, I started putting 2 and 2 together, adding shit up, and shit was unlocking. Okay. So, I had to sit with a lot of that. And things I never processed, things I thought about here and there, but never really sat with. And lately, that's what's been happening. Looking at my children, remembering where I was at 4 years old and 7 years old. Now, my memory is strong enough to really go back at 4, but there is a time where I remember my mom being pregnant with my sister, and her and I are 5 years apart. And so I remember my mom being pregnant with my sister. I had to have been like 4, hitting on 5, because by the time my sister was born in October, I had turned 5 that previous July. So, memory unlocks. And I start to remember little things. So, like, just remembering, where I was and what, as a kid, what was going on in my mind, and all the things, Anyway, I have been sitting with a lot of that. And it has brought me to the end of 2024. And I've processed a lot over the last couple of years. I have really decided where I'm standing with people in terms of moving forward, if I choose to move forward with them. And one of the bottom line things of 2024 is I'm sick of being fucking sad. Okay? I'm sick of being frustrated. I'm sick of my own shit. I'm sick of everybody else's shit. Whoever shit that has been giving me shit, I'm sick of it. I am exhausted of doing the little dances that I've been doing with people. For some, all of my life. For some, for the years that I've known them. I want to be happy. I want my home to feel like a home. And that's something that I've struggled with, right? Because I wasn't one of those homemaking girlies in terms of like decor. And like when you walk in, it feels super warm because you've got, just the right color palette going on. That's just not, home decor is not something that came or that comes natural to me. So that is something that I want to do and I want to focus on. And I realize that when I'm not focusing on my sadness and my emotions and the distraught relationships in my life, that I'm actually thriving and being exactly who I want to be. And so therefore, that is exactly what I'm going to do in 2025. And I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to limit myself to who I think I should be in a certain environment or around certain people. I'm not going to short who I am. I'm not going to dim my light for anybody, no matter where I'm at, unless I'm at work, because I don't be trying to sit up at HR, okay? We're not putting my livelihood in jeopardy. So, to the left, moving away from that, I am who I am. I'm a very bold person. I'm a very fun person, like at the core of who I am. Like, I'm not angry. I'm not sad. Like, the things that I've been through and the way that I chose or defaulted to thriving, like, anger got me through. I didn't grow up in an environment where no means no. It was, I said the fuck not. So stop playing with me before I knock all this shit over. Like, it had to be that, or people thought it was fun and games. And at 7 and at 8 years old and forward, and not even just ensuring that I stayed safe, but my little sister as well. Like, I never knew what it was like to not protect someone. And even if that someone was myself. So with that being said, like, I'm moving into 2025. Like, I got a good man, Savannah. I'm going to let him protect me. I'm going to let him provide for me. Like, I am not going to be, I'm not every woman. It's not all in me. I'm exhausted of that, right? I'm saying a lot. I'm getting it all off my chest, but like the gist of 2024 really is, I'm tired of my emotions controlling my life. Due to things that I encountered, due to people, places, and things that I encountered, I had to be a certain way. And that became that way, that attitude, that feistiness, we'll call it, that takeover spirit. Like, I had to be that to survive the people, places, and things that I was encountering. And I don't have to be that anymore. And it's not who I am. And it is why I have been so exhausting. It wasn't the fact that, it's the kid. Like, don't get me wrong. My kids be exhausting me. Work be exhausting me. But it wasn't that type of exhaustion. It was that exhaustion, but it was being overshadowed by the fact that I was still operating as if I was in survival mode. So a lot of my emotions were draining me. And I'm tired. Like, I'm tired. Everybody talks about their inner child. My inner teenager took over for, I would say, the bulk of the last 2 years of me healing, because she don't play. She say what she say, baby, a whole ass teenager. And over the last 2 years, she has really helped me set boundaries with people I never thought that I would have needed to. She has had tough conversations with people that, again, I thought I wouldn't need to. She has developed the grown woman in me, if that makes sense. She's given me the courage to speak up, but the grown woman in me is like, girl, I can communicate this, because don't nobody need all of that razzle dazzle you trying to do. So, like, my inner teenager really did me a solid over the last 2 years. She got me out of a place where my inner child people pleased, was scared to set boundaries because, oh no, what are they going to think? And the inner teen in me was like, babe, don't nobody give a shit what they think. This is how they operate, and let these people know, okay? You don't want to slide to the side. And so my inner child had slid to the side, and she's been cooling. But there's a lot of things that I've had to unpack this year. And in order to move into 2025 in a grown adult manner, in terms of how I operate with my emotions, or allowing my emotions not to take over, like, to feel them and say, hey, it's okay. It's cool. It's cool. Like, you can feel this, but we're not going to stay here. You can feel this, but it's not on you. You can feel this, but we're going to have to move on. Right? So, like, I'm excited. Right? And I wear many hats. I'm a military spouse. Like, even though we're now in shore duty, there's still a lot that comes with being a military spouse. There's still just a lot. I'm a mom of 1 plus twins. I hate to say twins plus 1 when my plus 1 is the oldest. So anyway, there's Victoria, and then I'm still mom of an angel, and so I'm still, and I will always process the loss of her, because when I look at my children, I feel like I should have 4, but that's another sit down. Then there are the twins, and I'm a twin mom, and there's a lot that just comes with being a twin mom. So while there's a lot that comes with being a mom, when you start to have multiples, not start to, because it's not something like, this is not, no, we're done. But when you have multiples, like, parenthood is different for multiples, and that does not include people who have step-children. Like, that's a whole, I need to eat. That's a whole, like, I don't know what that's like, to be pregnant and then turn around and be pregnant again, and now my kids are like 18 months apart. Like, no, I was pregnant at one time, and I had 2 children, and now I have 2 children that are the same age, and every year they're the same age. And there's no getting out of a phase and then getting into one. There is two children being 2 years old at the same time, and because they are 2 separate humans, you know, every child is different. There's that within itself. And so I'm not going to pretend to know what it's like to have step-children, and I'm not going to let anybody tell me that they know what it's like to have a set of twins. Period. So there's just a lot. And then I'm not going to allow somebody who's never lost children to tell me what it's like to be an angel parent. So I wear many different hats in motherhood alone. I'm a wife, I'm a military wife, and then I am an employee, and I am Fevia. And so I'm excited to be able to finally hone in on all of those different aspects with a lot more joy, with a lot more happiness, with a lot more intent. So anyway, I'm going to end this here, this little sit down vlog. It's not a vlog because I'm not doing anything, but this little sit down chat, whatever they're calling it. I'm one of those millennials who don't know any of the lingo that I should. So yeah, but anyway, I have a lot to do to prepare for the new year, and I'm not even going to pretend to get everything done by January 1st. That's just not my cup of tea. But there's, like, we need to get the tree down. We need to, like, reel in the house. And so that's what I'm about to do. And I don't know if I'm going to film it or not, because I don't know if that's just what I want to showcase on this channel. I'm still kind of deciding, but we'll see. Otherwise, I'll see y'all in the next video.